How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to 2A News Now. And as always, here at 2A News Now, you get your Second Amendment news straightforward and to the point with no BS added in. New York is trying to ban Glocks again. It's just amazing how Democrat lawmakers try to blame the firearms and the firearms manufacturers instead of the criminals that commit the crimes. And it's already a federal crime for someone to take a semi-automatic pistol and turn it into a machine gun. And so since a lot of Democrat lawmakers at the federal and state levels wanted to start suing gun manufacturers, during the George Bush administration, Congress passed a law called the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Law Act, also known as the PLCAA. And George Bush signed that bill into law in 2005. And it basically stops frivolous lawsuits against the gun manufacturers. But some cities and states continue to go after the gun manufacturers, even though this law has been in place for 20 years. And of course, one of the most common manufacturers of firearms that they want to sue is Glock. And they say the reason is because how easy it is from turning them into a machine gun by just adding what they call a Glock switch, which of course Glock actually doesn't make. And New York has gone after Glock before. And now there's two Democrat lawmakers in New York that are going after Glock again. One of them is Democrat State Senator Zelnor Myrie, and the other one is a Democrat state representative. And her name is Michelle Solage. And they have introduced legislation that would prohibit the future sale and manufacture of any handguns, specifically Glocks, that they say are especially easy to convert into machine guns. And like I said earlier, their issue is what they call Glock switches. And they shouldn't be called Glock switches at all. They're not manufactured by Glock. They're not sold by Glock. And Glock, of course, doesn't want anyone to use them on their product. And of course, if one of those switches or sears is installed on a Glock pistol, it turns it into a machine gun. And what they're doing is they're blaming the manufacturer, which is Glock, and not the violent criminals that break these laws that are already in place. It's a federal law that turned a semi-automatic pistol into a machine gun, unless you have the proper licensing. And of course they don't. But of course when they come up with these laws and they either put out statements or they actually talk to the press on wanting to ban Glocks, they don't mention that it's already against the law to turn them into machine guns, because it's all part of the Democrat plan to ban as many firearms as possible. They need to arrest and convict and throw away the keys on all these violent criminals that are installing these so-called Glock switches and breaking federal law instead of going after Glock. And I guess these two so-called Democrat lawmakers also don't want to admit, in August of 2024, a federal judge in Wichita, Kansas, that the federal law tightly regulating the ownership and transfer of full automatic firearms is unconstitutional under the Bruin decision that was handed down by the Supreme Court in 2022. And as early as January this year, a Mississippi judge also ruled that the federal law effectively banning the sale and possession of newly produced or unregistered machine guns was also unconstitutional. These so-called Democrat lawmakers will try to push any gun control law that they can put forth that will ban as many firearms as possible, not because it's going to save lives. It's because they're just gun-hating pieces of crap, and they're just trying to push their agenda to ban as many firearms as they can. I don't know how many times I've said it in this video. Someone that takes a semi-automatic pistol and installs something on it to turn it into a machine gun is a federal crime. As always, I would really like to hear your thoughts about today's video in the comment section. And if you enjoy videos like this, and also you want to help the channel out and help it to continue to grow, I just ask you to take a few seconds of your time to like, share, and subscribe and hit those post notifications. I really would appreciate it if you did so. And I invite all of you to come back and watch my next video.